Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final third. And today we're going to be discussing the final game of Matchweek 26 as per the Premier League website. And it was Wolves versus Arsenal. A massive game that was in the title race, and obviously the result didn't go in the favour of the league leaders. And obviously, we're going to have to talk about how that's going to have an effect on the title race and potentially what Arsenal need to do to get back on form. But before we get into that, Al, can you reveal the player from the last video, please?
Yes, it was Kevin Phillips. Let us know if you got that in the comments below. And of course, we'll do the quiz at the end of the video.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Al. Appreciate it. So let's just jump straight into the game. We have more time to analyze this game since obviously it's just the one game and we haven't really got much to talk about in this video. So we'll go into the depth of it and maybe we can go through the goals. So I say let's start off with the first half, and obviously Arsenal got that goal in the beginning. Saka with a good header, but it was a great cross from Declan Rice. Now we've discussed this man so much and his
Yes.
quality. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that can probably talk about it more with better description than Ali, because he's watched him week in week out before he made that move to Arsenal and saw the making of him.
Yeah, like you say, obviously was born and bred in West Ham. You know what I'm saying? He was built at West Ham. That's where he started in the academy for us, and developed into the player that he is today. Got a good fee for him as well. So as sad it was to see him go, got a good fee. So it wasn't too bad, I guess. Um, and yeah, he's proven to be worth his price. I think he's definitely been value for money in my opinion. I think he's now in my this season. I think he is one of the best midfielders in the world. He's just world class, he is. And to be fair, Arsenal do have a lot of players that are probably borderline world class, but I'd say Declan Rice is world class. And how important he is to Arsenal has been seen this throughout the season in games where they've had him out because of injury, and the impact it's made on the game for Arsenal. They haven't played to the same level when he's not in the team. Um, but yeah, and obviously gets the assist for the goal, for the first goal for Saka. And to be fair, it was good. It was a good, positioning and from Saka, and the run that he made. But yeah, no, it's probably a better cross if I'm being honest. Very good cross from Declan Rice. It was a good goal. Um, but yeah, no, Declan Rice is just a hell of a player, and yeah, if they do win the league, I think Declan Rice could probably be the key player for that. If I'm being honest, so yeah.
100%. Let's talk about how Saka, he signed that new contract, and now he's, I'm not going to say flourish because it is just sort of the first game after he did that. But fair play to him getting a goal. And you see, it's when we're talking about the whole game as in general, we're talking about the first goal, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He gets his goal, and it was an
Yeah,
impactful player in that. But again, the result obviously is not ideal, and a player like Saka, and maybe even the contract he's on at the moment, you'd want him to be more involved. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Even though he did score, Saka, you see him. I mean, this is what I saw him as before. I saw him as a very complete winger in terms of he's he's not the quickest, but he's quick. He's not the best on the ball, but he's very good on the ball. Um, he can do everything to a very high level, but I wouldn't say he's world class in anything realistically.
I agree.
And that's just me. I feel like he's a very good all round player, but I don't see him as a world class player yet.
Yeah,
Potentially, he can reach that level. But the thing is, um, you need your players in these type of games against. I said it in the previous video. The fact that the games where it's top versus bottom, and how sometimes it just doesn't go the way you think. It the bottom side, because they have nothing to play for,
he
they
called
give
it.
it more of a
He called
game.
it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I predicted a win for Arsenal, but in my heart, I had a feeling there was something that was going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
probably should have gone with my heart.
yeah.
Um, yeah, go on.
Nah, yeah, I was just gonna agree with you on the point about Saka. Jamie Carragher, actually, to be fair to him, has said a lot throughout the season how Arsenal, their front three, there's not that one really standout player that kind of carries the front three. Look, in Liverpool, you got Mo Salah. Obviously, right now he's not, on it, but when he's on it, when he was on it in the previous seasons, he was that guy to carry them through games, to carry them through the season. Get the goals. Saka's not that at the moment. If anything, he used to be that when he first burst onto the scene. He's fallen off big time in the last couple of years. Look, it's not like he's awful, but he's not putting the output for Arsenal that probably Arsenal need at the moment if they want to get over the line in terms of the title, right? And the fact that they signed Gyökeres hoping that he'd at least help in that sense, he hasn't done it either. And obviously, we know their left winger is probably the weakest position in the front three. But I mean, to be fair, the way it's going at the moment probably is Gyökeres, who is the weakest link. But yeah, they just don't have that superstar player up front. I know they keep calling Saka's, their star boy, Shit, mate, the guy's like, how old is he now? Like 25 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Mate, he's not a
something like
star
that.
boy anymore, and he's not a star player whatsoever, right? He's a bang average winger, if I'm being honest. He's a good winger. He's a good winger, but he's not world class. I think he's closer to being like an average winger than a world class winger, to be honest.
Ooh,
I do.
that's a hot take. That's a hot
It could
take.
be a hot take, but at the moment, like look, the thing is, you could look at his goal today and be like, oh, but look, he's getting a goal. But when was the last time he honestly scored a goal like an assist? Like he doesn't do it anymore. If Look, there was a point in time when he first started, and he was first getting into the team that I actually do think he was possibly a world class player, or at least closer to being a world class player. I just think at the moment. By the way, I'm just saying at the moment. I'm not saying in general, right? But at the moment, I think he's closer to becoming an average winger than a world class winger. It's just he's not doing like in a team that are going for the title. There's always that one player up front that star man. City, they got Haaland. Liverpool, it's Salah. Chelsea back in the day, you got like a Didier Drogba or a Hazard. These kind of players that like really shine, get like 20 plus goals a season. Look, I understand he is a winger, but the way he's been made out in this Arsenal team, you expect at least more goals or even assists, and he hasn't got it in recent times. So, in my opinion, yeah, I do think he's closer to average. And right now, if they really want to get the title, yeah, they need players up front that are gonna, maybe get like 20 goals a season. I don't necessarily think it has to happen, but usually when teams win the league, they have a player that gets that kind of output. So, and Arsenal just don't have that. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, realistically, you could even say Mbeumo's been better than him. Has been more
Oh, easily.
clinical and been more effective for Manchester United. Listen, for me, it's not about comparison. For me, it's what your team needs. And
Agreed.
this current moment, and Bukayo Saka isn't. Again, he scored in this game. Give him credit where credit's due. Okay, he got a goal, but throughout the whole season, I'm sure Arsenal fans will even admit this as well. He's not the level of Bukayo Saka that they would have expected, especially in a team where they need to push for the title. But I don't think we should just focus on Bukayo Saka because
No,
it's
of
not on
course
him.
not.
He did
I said
score.
it. Like
He did
Gyökeres
score
as
in the game.
well. He's not providing. Same with Martinelli, but we know that left wing position's been probably their weakest position usually in the front three,
Yeah,
and they haven't replaced it in the summer. To be fair to them, even Madueke has probably put more. Look, I don't actually know the stats, so I could end up looking like a dickhead here. But I feel like Madueke has had more impact since he's kind of come in. Like when he plays, I don't know. I just feel like he gives more to Arsenal. Again,
he's more
I'm
electric.
not. Yeah, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I'm sure that the fans, are, gonna, tell me that I'm wrong and whatnot, and they have all the right to because they watch every single game. And in my defense, I don't, right? But from what I do see when I do watch Arsenal, and I have seen Madueke play over Saka, I've seen more from Madueke than I have seen Saka. Now, obviously, if you are an Arsenal fan, let us know in the comments. Whether we're wrong, if Saka is that player that you think he is. And fair enough. I'll hold up my hand if that's what you think the case is. But from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like that at the moment, if I'm being honest. So, again, I don't want to keep banging on about Saka because I do feel bad just ripping into one player. But
You
it's
do
just the
rip to him a
fact.
lot.
The only reason I'm doing it is because Arsenal fans hold him to such a high, you know, like
Agree.
standard or, level of player, which I just think a lot of people don't think he is. But Then again, I don't watch him enough, so maybe I'm wrong. But there you go.
Yeah. Listen. Let's discuss small points. I mean, there's a lot of things you can talk about. There's the Hugo Bueno goal. That goal was
Just unbelievable, to be fair.
great, unbelievable goal, and not many people can save that shot, if any, really. But you know what? A little bit of a critic of David Raya. Um, I'm gonna go on to the second goal. I'm not talking about the first goal. The first goal, he didn't do much about that. I'll be honest. The second goal was calamitous from him slash Gabriel. Um, it's a mix up. It's a mix in communication. It's a lapse. Now the two players on the pitch. I mean, especially Gabriel. I'm not going to blame Gabriel because it was Raya that came from behind him. But those two, realistically, are very experienced players in the squad,
Yeah,
and you're expecting them to at least communicate correctly and discuss and see. I mean, figure out who's going for the ball, and that didn't
yeah,
happen.
poor
Raya had two
communication.
hands on the ball. It's very poor communication, and Gabriel obviously sort of they get into each other's way, and then it falls to the player, and then it's just he just hits it hard. And again, Calafiori, I don't know if you can blame
No, you can't blame.
Calafiori.
I think
It's hard. It's
he's
very
done.
unlucky because it
It's
hits
very
off him,
unlucky.
comes
He's
off the
done what
post,
he
and then hits
has.
him again.
Yeah, exactly. He's done what his best. Nearly,
Mm,
blocked it, but it's just unfortunately come off him. But yeah, it's just surprising to see that goal go in the way it did, because I talk.
calamitous.
Yeah, it's calamitous. But when I talk about world class players in that squad, in my opinion, I think Raya and Gabriel are both world class players. Right? I don't know if you agree with me, but personally, I think they are in their
Yeah, and I
positions.
agree.
Right? And when you're going for the title, you know, you can't have the look. It happens. You can have mistakes like this, but when you're in the position that Arsenal are in, right? They're so they're so close with Man City, right? They've got all this pressure on them. It can happen, but you just I don't know. Like it's very bad for it to like you can't be making these mistakes. You just can't. This is the point in the season where you can't be making mistakes like this. Because not only is it the fact that you concede, right? Obviously, that goal has now led to them dropping points. Yeah, it will affect the mentality of the players. Because then obviously they drop points, and then they know the pressure that's already around them, and everything that's been said in the media about them being absolute bottles, and not just but the mentality they have. They've already been scrutinized big time about the mentality they have because they've bottled the league previously 3 times in a row. And again, you can clearly see the lack of mentality here in that goal and in the game. And to be honest, they kind of deserved it for, trying to time waste from like the 65th minute on. So it's kind of on them, to be honest. And they deserved it.
Yeah, they do it a lot. If I'm honest, I see them time waste very early on in games. But that's we can talk about Arsenal and we can talk about the title race. I want to just give a little bit of credit to Wolves because to come
Yeah,
back from
fair.
2-0 down against the top side in the league is very impressive. Even though you're the side that is very likely to get relegated, there's almost no hope of you staying in the league. A team that has nothing to lose is more dangerous, I would say, than a team that has something to lose
Has
because
everything to lose,
they can
exactly.
just play. They can just play freely, and they don't care. They're
No
probably
pressure.
playing on
Yeah,
adrenaline. Do you know what I mean?
there's no
And all
pressure
those things.
because they
Where
know they're down.
exactly, exactly, they're gonna want to take long shots, which they did, and they scored from. So it's fair play to them, and that's all I can say on the Wolves side of things. But now let's discuss the title race as a whole. Arsenal have played a game more than everyone else in the title race
League.
or in the top four, and they are only 5 points clear. Man City win, it's only 2 points in it. Arsenal drop more points, Man City can potentially go ahead of them. Now, this is the thing we've discussed so many times with Arsenal. For the majority of the season, even for the last 3 seasons, they always seem to be the team that is at the top of the league for the majority of the time, and then
Yes,
they go and bottle it. And
agreed.
that is the issue that I feel like Arsenal are having. Um, they're not able to hold on to their nerve. Like a lot of teams, unless it's like a team that's got a massive point gap, like where Liverpool won it in COVID, where they, to be fair, with Liverpool, that was crazy to be honest. They won like every single game pretty much, except for like one draw until they
Against
lost to
was it
Watford.
Watford? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Watford.
But then after that point, they dropped a couple
Yeah,
points. But anyway, they still won the league in that season. I mean, Man City, we know Man City are. They can win the
Centurions
league
and
from
everything, man.
being exactly Centurions from being the team dominating and leading the league to being the team that comes from behind to win it,
Yeah,
and with a point difference or even goal difference, because they've done that as well.
because but
And
there's a common factor with both of that, the mentality. These
exactly,
players and these teams there and the players in these teams are winners. They have the
mm,
mentalities of winners. The Arsenal team, whether it's the manager that is instilling this mentality into the players, but you can see they're scared. You can see they can feel the pressure. And you can't have that when you're going for the title. You have to have the confidence. Like even if you lose a game, you have to have the confidence to know that you'll win the next one and you won't drop points again. And you able to keep it going. But Arsenal don't look like that right now. They look scared. I mean, even the fight after the game with the other players, the Wolves players, you can tell the frustration. You can see the frustration. I mean, that's what's probably caused this fight. You know, the fight between them and the Wolves players. They've lost their head. They've lost their heads. You can see it,
yeah,
and that's not what they
yeah.
need right now, especially at this moment in the season.
Listen, I feel like with Arsenal, yeah, but this is basically just a full Arsenal video, if we're honest, right?
Yeah.
They have very important next 6 games, 4 very important games in the Prem, where they play Tottenham and Chelsea in the next two. They got to play Brighton.
Yeah.
Mansfield is an important game to go to the next round of the FA Cup, and
Yeah.
then they got Everton at home. But then they have the Carabao Cup final. Now, I
Yes.
really believe that this competition, this game, and this trophy can be the difference maker. Now,
Agreed.
Arsenal could still be behind in this point. They could go behind Man City, and but the thing is, if they're still in and amongst it around this game, either whether they're first, whether they're second, whether they're third, but they're kind of close to the title race, I believe that this game can have a massive impact. Now, winning a trophy, let the players taste that feeling of winning a trophy. It
Exactly.
helps them build that mentality. Now, even if I still feel like Arsenal can be a cup team. Now they've proved it kind of in the Carabao Cup run, right? They win the Carabao Cup. They may not necessarily win the Premier League, but I still really think that they could do well in the Champions League. Now they did well last season to get to the semi-final,
Yeah.
and they lost to PSG, which obviously they're the team that won the Champions League, and fair play to them. But Arsenal are a team that I feel like once they get that first taste of a trophy, it happened with Man City, it happened with Liverpool when they got that first taste, when they had that. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, a team tastes it and then they
No, you're
want
right.
more,
They
and
but they
that's just
yeah,
how it is.
they develop that winning mentality, you know,
Exactly,
and they get the hunger for winning even more.
exactly. So what this is what I'm saying. This game is massive. I feel like the winner of this game wins the title.
That's a fair assumption. I kind of agree with that, to be honest. I do. I feel like yeah, whoever wins this game will probably go on to win the title. Um, yeah, I mean, we talked about if Arsenal don't win a league or Champions League this season, I've said before I'd personally want Arteta out. Now we got a lot of comments, you know, mixed comments. Some that were agreeing with me that were Arsenal fans, which is funnily enough, and there were a lot of other Arsenal fans who were disagreeing with me. Look, it's good and all that he's taking you out of the trenches, right? But how much money have you spent? How long has this process been? And you haven't won anything. Like if you had won a Carabao Cup here and there and an FA Cup here and there, I know that the first season you won an FA Cup. Personally, I don't
But that
really
was like
count
within the
that.
first 6 months.
Exactly, I don't really count that because first of all, it's not his team, and second of all, it's just like whatever, right? It was the first season, so it's not even part of the process, really. Okay, again, the amount of seasons he's had since, the amount of money he's spent, he's got the best squad in the league. Bro, there's no excuses. If he can't get over the line with a team like this, he's not going to win you trophies ever. And again, even if he wins a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup, in my opinion, it's not enough. The squad you have is a Champions League level winning squad or a Premier League level winning squad. It is not just a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup winning squad. Brother, Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last season, and you guys couldn't win a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup or anything. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuses. And look at the squad they had compared to you. There is no excuses. You know what I mean? Look, if he wins nothing, then yeah, he's definitely got to go. If he wins absolutely nothing, I don't care. I don't care what you say. If he's taking you out of the trenches, he has to go. But again, if he
That's the
doesn't win
thing.
it,
I wanted
yeah,
to ask you, and I'm gonna ask this to the fans as well.
yeah,
If Arteta were to win the cup double, with being the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, but not win either the Champions League or the Premier League or both of them. He wouldn't win both. Is that a successful season? Would you keep him?
No,
Me personally, you wouldn't keep him?
no.
Me personally, I would because get like I said, getting that taste of that trophy will instill the will to go forward and this is a inside joke. You wouldn't
Yeah,
really know. Actually, yeah.
you probably get it anyway.
You might get it, yeah. But listen, like I said, the trophy winning taste is very, very important. Now, a lot of teams had that first trophy to go on and do something, right?
Yeah,
Um, and obviously, it kind of depends on what you do after winning that trophy as well. That's very, very important. Let's not forget that. Like when Man United won the Carabao Cup and FA Cup with Ten Hag, um, in that first summer, realistically, they didn't back him as much as he would have wanted. I
mm.
mean, after winning the Carabao Cup and getting to that cup final, it was a great season for United. They finished third. They got to the FA Cup final and won the Carabao Cup, but they didn't back him correctly. Now, this is another thing. Again, like we say, the squad is like almost complete.
Almost.
There's not much. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm
It's
saying. There
complete, bro.
is. It's
It's the best
there
squad
is
in the league.
some.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but even then, like complete in terms of like the attacking sense. Like you say, bro, is there a player in the attack that doesn't, that pops out at you? You can't say that. Like, sure, you look at Liverpool last season. Mo Salah was unbelievable. I mean, even if you look at Man United now, Bruno Fernandes is just on another level compared to, I would say, all the attacking players at Arsenal easily.
Yeah,
Haaland for Man City.
easy.
Do you know what I mean? Some might even say Cole Palmer at Chelsea, but I wouldn't say that. To be
Oh,
honest
I
with
don't
you.
know about that one.
I wouldn't say that, but you know what I mean. Like what I will say is the fact that all the teams that have won the title recently, which has been Man City and Liverpool,
Pretty much.
do you know what I mean? But to be fair, even before that, when Chelsea won it, they had Hazard.
Like, yeah,
Leicester, when they had
Drogba.
it, they had Mahrez,
Yeah.
Vardy, and obviously that was a one-off season. But
Yeah,
still, they
Man
had those
United with
world-class
Rooney,
players.
Ronaldo, these kind of
Rooney,
players.
Ronaldo, exactly. All of these teams, and even Arsenal. When you look back at the teams, they had Henry,
Henry,
they had
Bergkamp.
Bergkamp, and these players are quality, and that they perform week in, week out. Arsenal need those type of players. Now,
Yeah,
this season, I still don't think it's an excuse if they don't win a trophy, but or a significant trophy. But next season, if they win to the cup double and they back Arteta again and get him a proper world class
attacker.
winger slash attacker, exactly, I feel like they can definitely go on and do it. But realistically, this season's where they have to do it. I feel
Yeah.
like there's not much time left for
You,
Arteta.
you can't go 4 seasons, first of all, coming second with this. And this season is probably is their best opportunity, realistically. All the other teams have been shit. Like compared to like previous seasons, right?
Yeah.
They have no excuses. They got the best squad they've ever had, like since Arteta's come in, obviously. I've said it before, by the way. I don't think this team is performing as good as I think it was a 2022-23 season. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was the
22,
first
23.
season that they were fighting for the title, by the way. I think that team performed better week in, week out than this team is at the moment.
Mm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they had a better style of play and they were more entertaining to watch. I agree.
And they were just more dominant, in my opinion. Again, that's whether you agree with me or not. I
I
don't
feel
know.
like the season after is where they got really dominant and they
Yeah,
kept on
I can't
winning
remember
like
which season it was, but
7,
there was,
6,
you know
5
what I'm
0
saying?
a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They're actually
Yeah.
somehow digressing, even though the squad's actually getting better. It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Like, I get, like, yeah, to be fair, the Premier League, the football in the Premier League is also changing quite drastically, but that's no excuse. So,
100%. Yeah, I feel like we can discuss this a lot, and with the top teams and the teams at the top of the title race, you can discuss so many different things. We didn't even discuss how Man City can have an impact, but we know what they're gonna do if they smell blood.
yeah.
They will attack and get close as much as they possibly can. But Arsenal have dropped points. Not a good result for them. Let us know in the comments below whether you think this could be. Uh, it is a massive hit in their title race, but could this be the beginning of the end in terms of Arteta? as the Arsenal coach. Now, still a big claim, but
Yeah.
is at the beginning of the end of their title race and title run, even though they haven't won a title yet. That's it from our side, I think, from the Arsenal side of things. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to add, Al?
Not really, to be honest.
And that's it. So, right, we're going to jump into the predictions before we leave because obviously, the next video we'll do a reaction to the games. Hassan has currently not given us his predictions as per while we were recording. So, I'm guessing we'll add those in after.
Yeah.
But we will do just Ali saying his prediction, then my prediction, and I will just add in Hassan's as well.
Yeah.
So, let's go on to the first game. Aston
Yes.
Villa vs Leeds.
I've gone 2-1 Villa.
I've gone 3-1 Villa. Brentford Brighton.
I've gone 3-1 Brentford.
Gone 2-0 Brentford. Chelsea Burnley.
I've gone 3-1 Chelsea.
I've gone 2-1 Chelsea. West Ham Bournemouth.
I've gone 1-1.
I've also gone 1-0. Man City Newcastle.
I've gone 2-0 City.
I've gone 3-1 City. Palace vs Wolves.
I've gone 2-1 Palace.
I've gone 2-1 Palace as well. Nottingham Forest vs Liverpool.
I've gone 2-1 Liverpool.
I've gone 3-1 Liverpool. It's a bit more convincing. Sunderland vs Fulham.
I've gone 3-2 Sunderland.
I've gone 2-1 Sunderland. Tottenham vs Arsenal. Probably the big game of the weekend.
I've gone 2-1 Arsenal, but I did say before the video to Carlos that I do have a sneaky feeling Tottenham could get something out of this because of the new manager.
I've gone 2-1 Arsenal as well. I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't think so. I feel like Tottenham are just so bad that if this was to happen, then Arsenal should pack up their. I mean, Arteta should pack his bags if they don't beat Tottenham. I'm sorry, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, they might even be less of a threat than Wolves, which is kind of crazy to think about. You know what I mean? But let's go on to the last game. It is Everton versus Manchester United.
I've gone 2-0 Manchester United.
I've gone 3-1 Manchester United. And that is it for the predictions, guys. Before we end the video, Al, can you give us the next quiz, please?
Of course I can. So, the first fact is, before moving to England, he won the Intercontinental Cup as a teenager with the South American Giant in 1999. The second fact, he spent 8 seasons at Bayern Munich but was rarely a guaranteed starter, often used as a rotation forward. The third fact, he scored 19 Premier League goals in the 2007-08 season for a mid-table club, finishing among the league's top scorers that year. Fourth fact, he later signed for Man City but struggled with injuries and loan spells after the club's major financial takeover era began. And for the fifth and the final fact, the Paraguayan striker had Premier League spells at Blackburn Rovers, Manchester City, and then briefly at Malaga after England. So let us know in the comments if you know who that is, and of course at the start of the next video I will review it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Al, for that. Really appreciate you guys coming in. Hopefully in the next video we will be able to obviously do a bit more interactive stuff, but we will see from that point onward. But thank you guys for coming in. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you get notified when we upload videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Take care.